Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope that you guys are doing well. So today we're going to be starting the first, and I think what might become a series, which is going to be talking about the moon signs and sort of my understanding of them. Now, I will say, while it might be a series, I don't want to put out any like videos for specific signs until I really feel like I know that energy. And right now there's about 3 that I really feel like I've had enough experience with, come into enough contact with, that I can say like I pretty much understand the stories of those moon signs. One being my own, one being the moon sign of a lot of people in my life, Scorpio moons, and one being another moon sign of a lot of people in my life, Aqua moons. So I think today in this video, I want to talk about the Virgo moon. We'll talk a little bit about like, okay, what is your moon placement? And then we'll go into the sign, how that affects it. But really what the moon, your emotions a lot of the times, and your brain, which is connected, like your brain, this thing that thinks it thinks and creates feelings, is connected to stories. So what I'll be kind of trying to map out here is the story, I guess, of each moon sign and its experience. So I am going to be eating and I'm going to be drinking while I chit chat about these things. If that bothers you, then sorry. But it's also my birthday today, so happy birthday to me. And I think what better day for a moon sign series to start than on my birthday as the Cancer that I am. So the moon's actually in Libra today, but we're going to be talking about Virgo moons. So what is the Virgo moon? What are traits but what's underlying, right? So, I guess we could start with traits. Virgo moon people are the type to intellectualize their emotions. Now this can be changed and we'll talk about that. In each of these videos, I kind of want to talk about remediation for these signs and like how we kind of heal them a little bit. Because a lot of us are working out of unhealed moons and not very healed moons. And so we want to try doing our best to get back into a place where we're, I guess, just more loving and more emotional. Honesty is the real thing with the moon placement. But everyone's going to approach it a little differently. So Virgo moons are the type to intellectualize their feelings. Virgo moons are overthinkers. You probably heard constant, like that's the constant thing that people associate with Virgo moons. And it's true. It's almost like if when you're a Virgo moon, there is this constant loop of like thought, and sometimes good thoughts, sometimes exciting thoughts, but also most of the time very self-critical thoughts or very scared, fearful thoughts and judging thoughts. Virgo moons and their unhealed energy can be quite judgmental. But the reason that they are judgmental is because they're really judging themselves. So if a Virgo moon's being critical of you, it's because Virgo moons have thought out in their head every pretty much possible scenario and situation that is going to occur or that could occur. The funny thing is a lot of these don't end up occurring, but a lot of them do. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the more we're running on this mental loop energy of like trying to fortune tell and predict, a lot of the times that can lead us down a path where we're having these self-fulfilling prophecies that are actually really negative. We're expecting the worst and therefore we're kind of getting the worst. And that might be because for a lot of our life, we felt we needed to, Virgo moon, the word with Virgo moons, I think also Scorpio moons is control. So Virgo moons are constantly trying to control their experience, kind of. And there's a reason behind that. There's a reason behind that because at one point when they were children, there was a loss of control. Now this is kind of all the moon signs experience this to some degree or another. All children experience this. There was a loss of control. For Virgo moons, a lot of it was a loss of control and self-concept. And the reason I say that is because the reason Virgo moons are so judgmental and why they judge other people, why they judge themselves to this day, is because at some point, one or another, this is like when I talk about like the original wound. And maybe you'll never really be able to identify what exactly that moment was, but you can probably identify a pattern in your childhood where Virgo moons, where you were basically ridiculed, where you were critiqued, where you were criticized, and maybe those people didn't do it consciously, or maybe they did. I don't know. That's going to depend on your experience. But the Virgo moon was criticized growing up, criticized for how they felt, what emotions they were feeling. They felt like that was judged. So their emotional experience was one of judgment. They felt like when they opened up to people, when they were speaking their mind, their truth, they were judged for it. When they were being themselves, they were judged for it. Another thing that ties to the moon, the Virgo moon, I kind of look at the opposite side. So go to Pisces. Pisces is dreams. So Virgo moons really lack this belief in themselves until this is remediated. Of course, we can remediate this over time. But Virgo moons really lack this belief in self because at one point they likely shared their dreams or their ambitions with someone that they trusted, probably an adult. But maybe it was like not coworkers. I'm talking about kids. Maybe it was their like friends on the playground. Whatever the case, usually it's an authority figure of some kind or someone they value, ridiculed what it was that Virgo moon had a dream about, what that Virgo moon was feeling good about or really emotional about. So there's a story then attached to our dreams for Virgo moons of judgment. One of judgment, one of not good enough. Oh, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you do this? And so we take that as children, we internalize it because we don't understand it. And so then what happens is we become very critical of ourselves and others because we think, okay, I don't want to feel the pain of rejection. Like basically that's kind of what it is. It's like we internalize this pain of rejection and this judgment from the outside world. And we think, okay, I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to always be on constant guard, emotional guard of myself, how I'm like self-monitoring my own feelings all the time, my own thoughts, my own emotions. Is that okay? Is it not okay? I'm doing that constantly. And I'm also maybe doing that externally. It depends because not even people who are really struggling, not everyone externalizes it and projects it onto other people, but it can be. So if you're dealing with Virgo moons who you feel like are really judgmental with you, it's because they're judging themselves and they haven't yet dealt with that. And this thing though, it's kind of like you can never really, I don't think you can really ever fully outgrow your moon placement. I think you'll always have tendencies, but you can do things to remediate it. So I feel like for Virgo moons, remediation is stop thinking about your emotions because there's this conflation with the Virgo moon about thinking their emotions versus feeling them. It can be helpful to intellectualize in some situations, but in others, it's not actually really doing you justice. So that's my take on that. Virgo moons also, some remediation could be pursuing your dreams more. Because I go to the opposite sign, so Pisces. So pursuing your dreams more, letting go more, because the Virgo is so uptight, so, like, ugh. And it's actually funny when I think about it, I get along really well with Pisces moons. I don't really like, if you're a Pisces, it's not me shitting on you. I just don't really have good experiences with Pisces suns or like Pisces risings, but I have amazing experiences with Pisces moons. One of my best friends from high school, Bella, she's a Pisces moon. One of my friends in my current orbit, Chloe, she's a Pisces moon, and then one of my really close best friends who I met this past year, Mimi, she's a Pisces moon. So that Pisces energy kind of feeds the Virgo moon who's self-doubting, self-critical. So you can tap more into that Pisces moon energy of believing in yourself a little bit more. Not that you have to change how you are, because the goal with astrology or spirituality, in my opinion, is not to change how you are, but it is to make life easier, make life more pleasant and more joyful for you. So I think Virgo moons can really remediate some of the pain that comes with being a Virgo moon, the always constantly judging oneself and judging others, by believing in themselves a little bit more. That's a whole other thing we could tap into. How do you believe in yourself, whatever. But by pursuing things that make them happy, by pursuing their dreams, by tapping more into their emotional feeling body and not staying up here. That's why things for Mercury ruled moons like Gemini and Virgo, for example, those things like meditation and like yoga are really helpful because it's time to disconnect from the constant spiral that's going on in here. But really the story of the Virgo moon is one of judgment. So it's like you were judged growing up and now you judge yourself and others. One way you might be able to pinpoint a Virgo moon, or a way if you're a friend of a Virgo moon, someone's lover, who your lover's a Virgo moon. One thing I think with these people is because they were judged at one point and they internalized that really, really heavy, they may not literally, I think name of the game, if you're the partner or the friend of a Virgo moon and you really love them, I talked about self-remediation techniques like believing in yourself more, whatever. If you really want to help a Virgo moon in life and just be there for them, the name of the game, in my opinion, is reassurance. Reassurance. That can look like, for me, it's like words of affirmation, like letting them know, like, I'm not going anywhere. I love you. You're special. These are all the things I love about you. Reassurance for a Virgo moon is very big because we have this wound of judgment of self, of feeling like we are not good enough, that we are not up to standard because someone somewhere along the way convinced us and we believed it, or put it out there and we believed it. So we don't really have a lot. We really need to work on self-love. Everyone does, but we really need to work on receiving reassurance, or like letting other people, like accepting the love that other people give us, because that's really hard for us. So if you are, again, a friend or partner of a Virgo moon, letting them know, just going that extra mile, like letting them know, sending them a good morning text, sending them a good night text, hey baby, I hope your day was good, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Affirming them, these are all the things I love about you, especially when there's tension in a relationship, like maybe you guys aren't seeing eye to eye. It can be really helpful to let them know, these are my boundaries, whatever, this is what happened, this is my experience of it. But at the end of the day, as long as you do, obviously, at the end of the day, I'm not planning on leaving you. I still love you. Like, you're awesome. These are all the things I love about you. Virgo moons need reassurance because we weren't gifted as children with that like natural, just belief in ourselves. Or maybe we did have that, but at some point along the line, we lost that. So it's really hard for us to believe in ourselves, and it's really hard for us to believe that others would want. I think the Virgo moon thing, it's really hard. Virgo moons, it's really hard for us to believe that someone would want to be with us just because we're ourselves. That sounds sad, but I really truly think that's what it boils down to. It's really hard for Virgo moons to believe that someone would love us just because we are us. And we don't have to do shit. It's not conditional. It's really hard for the Virgo moon to believe that. And so if you're a friend or partner of, I think that is something that can be really, really helpful. So that concludes my little Virgo moon spiel. This one's probably going to be the most detailed, the most awesome. I will try to tell the stories of the Aqua and Scorpio hopefully just as well, because I do feel like I know them well enough. But this one's probably going to be the one that really resonates for people if you are a Virgo moon, because like, baby, I'm a Virgo moon too. Like, I know, I've been there. I've walked the walk in that experience. So I hope this was helpful to you in some way if you are a Virgo moon or if you love a Virgo moon. And I hope to see you guys in the next video, okay? Take care. Bye.